what you want to do.
Hi everyone, in this video I want to talk about Bang Chan, and not really in a good way. One of the first videos, or the first proper commentary video I put effort and words into, was the Big Bang Chan theory, where I talked about how something is not right with the way I thought Bang Chan had been managing his fans and keeping quiet about the Woojin situation. If you haven't seen it, I have linked it for you to watch another time, but it's been about 3 years since I made that video, and even though I'm not a follower of Stray Kids anymore, they are still popular enough for me to still kind of follow them without the intention of doing so. Besides, I have K-pop friends who love Stray Kids. Like I said, even though I do not mean to follow Stray Kids, I still get info on how they are doing, especially when Bang Chan makes a mistake, and every time I see something of that nature, Bang Chan making a mistake or making poor choices, I just sigh and shake my head in a way to be like, still, like, do you ever learn, bro? If you do not know what happened recently, Bang Chan seemed to have made a live, and someone asked him how was whatever show he was on, and he said it was good, but he wanted to comment on how younger groups tend to not really respect their seniors. I could have sworn this had already happened. I could have sworn we have had this conversation already. I thought I got deja vu because for some reason I was like, the same thing cannot happen twice. But the basis and the skeleton of the situation sounded exactly the same, so I thought I was going crazy. But no, Bang Chan is complaining about younger idols not respecting their seniors again, so I was not crazy. Awesome, cool. A while back, Chan had gone on live, and the same thing had happened. He was asked about the show he did, and he said it was great and all. Then he went to say that the group Lightsome was really good, and he liked them a lot because they were good at greeting. Now, it did seem like he was hesitant to talk about it because he said he did not want to sound like a boomer, but to be honest, what he was talking about was not boomer-esque at all. He was just stating his feelings toward how he has been noticing that younger groups hadn't been respectful toward him and seniors, but more so to him. He was asking for respect. That's not a boomer thing at all. Everyone deserves respect, whether older or younger, but of course in Korea the dynamic of respect is different since there is a seniority thing. So when it comes to Korean culture, it is more expected for you to greet elders and treat them as above you. Basic Korean etiquette includes bowing, as we all may know, but sure, you can bow, but they tend to also say hi or greeting when they bow. Chan was not focused on the bowing, since he did state that he did understand that bowing was an important thing, if not the important thing in Korean greetings, but he was more focused on the tone of people's voice, which is understandable, and I am also someone who thinks voice and tones of speech are important for understanding speech itself. I mean, that's the reason why I made this channel, because I formerly did a Instagram opinions account, but they either would get misinterpreted, or I was afraid they would get misinterpreted, or I would read someone else's opinion and I knew exactly what they meant, but people took it the wrong way because there was a lack of tone to understand the context of the text. So to refrain from that, I just made a channel to just say what I mean and mean what I say. As for Chan, he was more focused on the tone and voice, because with your voice you can clearly hear what someone means in what they say and how they see you. I swear that makes sense, because there's a difference when you say oh hey and oh hi. Like, the difference in my tone clearly states how I feel. One would mean like, oh, I mean I have to do it anyway, but let me get this out of the way, and the other, you can tell someone does really want to see you. So that was his problem. He truly did not say anything wrong. He also refrained from saying any names, but his fans made it a big deal where they seemed to find which group Chan was talking about, which made no sense because he did not say any names. But Stay thought it was about Ive, so Stay were bullying Ive, and are we surprised? There are several reasons to showcase that it was not Ive, but Stays still kept going. Alas, I don't think I used that word correctly. Anyway, a few days ago it happened again. Chan did a show, he went on live, he was asked how the event went, and he felt good about it, but then he said the same thing, but not. He talked about respect again, but this time, instead of voice and tone and all that jazz, people were straight up not greeting him back. For instance, he would greet someone and then they would just straight up not greet him back. And I understand, I am the type of person that if I was walking and I make eye contact with people, I smile at them or I wave at them just to greet them. I am not expecting a greeting back, but it totally sucks when I have said out loud hi or good morning. People just didn't bat an eye and just kept walking, or they acknowledged me but ignore my greeting. In the US, it's not so enforced to greet people, but it would be nice to do so. So I wasn't mad about it, but for Chan, as a person who grew up under Korean traditions and etiquette, he was taken aback, and it would make sense. And I would even go further as much to say, like, wow, you are in the music industry and you're celebrities, people who should show how good and cool they are. And if you look and show how you're an asshole in this industry, or at least K-pop, it's almost like a career-ending thing if this gets shown in the public eye, Like, this is me talking to other people who, quote-unquote, disrespect Chan. So I get where Chan is coming from, and he has the right to express this, but not with your fans. So when I got the notification from my stay friend that Chan posted a black screen and apologizing for something, I was like, come on, bro. Did he need to apologize about how he felt? No. About taking it up to his fans, the people who are rambunctious on social media and causes problems? Yes. He found this a problem because, again, the seniority culture that South Korea has. Lots of cultures have this. In Hispanic culture, it is very important to respect your elders, no matter how wrong or right, or if they respect you back either. It's toxic. You have no idea how many times I heard my brother say, okay, but I'm older. Or my mom say, I don't care, I'm your mother and you will listen to what I say, after correcting her on something. As for a greeting, if you enter a party, you must say hello to everybody, whether you know or care about them or not, before you can even sit down. And Hispanic parties are known to be very populated, so you are literally like greeting and hugging everybody, like over 30 people. So in terms of seniority in greeting, it's not a big deal, but in Korea, it is a big deal. So much that it can be abusive, which is why even the people of Korea are trying to abolish this part of their culture because, well, it can be abusive. Anyway, Chan apologized, right? I went through that, but people were asking why he had to apologize. His words caused commotion in his fan base, and that's what I want to get into, his fan base. When Stay was a small fandom back in 2017 through 2019, we were so chill that Chan seemed to be treating us as not only fans but friends of his, which was a big mistake on his part. Yeah, celebrities tend to not respect their fans or even see them as people, and even the people who are partially responsible for where they are, but they are not your friends. Chan is also the type of person where he is nice enough to tell you what you want to hear and to not really get angry. So much so that I remember fans saying, oh my gosh, Chan looks so scary when he's mad. Like, please. Sasaeng is a term in Korea used for superfans. They go as far as finding your personal information and try to approach you and follow you, and sometimes it gets darker than that, and that can happen when you open yourself and let your fans in. It's not his fault that he is a genuine and nice guy, at least I think, but once his fandom multiplied, it gets hard to control the millions of fans you have, and you become the type of teacher at school who lets people step all over you. His fans are young, and many of his young fans may be going through relationship issues with their dads or their brothers or male relatives, and it comes to a point where they see him as a father figure or a big brother. And I can tell you because I went through that. Well, I never saw Bang Chan as a replacement for my father or my big brother. I saw him no more than a mentor or favorite person to look up. But when I discovered Stray Kids, I stan them since I was, 15 going into 16? I had a rough childhood. I have 4 siblings and I am the only girl besides my mom and my grandma in the immediate family. I had to deal with toxicity and misogyny in my family. I still go through it now, but at the time I felt that stray kids were my escape and they were boys and men I could trust or be comfortable with praising, especially Bang-chan. He was the reason why I did not give up for my passion in music after I was at a very bad slump in my junior year of high school. Now look at me. I'm not a music teacher anymore. What I am trying to say is that many of Stray Kids fans, especially those who really like and follow Bang-chan, follow him for comfort because of past or current trauma. I remember this moment and I am not proud of this. I'm a huge fan of this K-tuber and she had made a video where she talks about how K-pop isn't your life and K-pop doesn't cure your depression and trauma. To be fair, I didn't watch it and I still hadn't watched it because I was afraid of getting hurt, because I sure did not feel that K-pop was my entire life, but I make sure to keep telling people that I am a student and I hadn't been into K-pop or the K-pop scene for a while and I have been fine without it. So K-pop isn't my life, but I did feel that K-pop did cure my depression. I cannot say I have clinical and diagnosed depression and anxiety. Like, I hate when people self-diagnose, but I for sure am not happy, and I made a paragraph where I talked about how it does cure it, and I had announced that I had daddy issues, so I had issues with falling for some male idols, and I don't remember how it went. It was just so cringe because I didn't need to say all that, but I felt like she didn't know where most of us were coming from, because there are different people with different lives with different cases, and I found it unfair because it seemed like she was insulting or antagonizing people who use K-pop as a way to stay alive, and I had been meaning to find it and delete it because that was just one of the 2 comments I put in their comment section that I was not proud about. I would be hella embarrassed if she saw that. I tried looking for it, but either it was deleted by them or just drowned in the comment section. I know for sure I did not delete it, which I should have. Someone should comment on it so I can delete it once and for all. But with that, I wanted to highlight as to why K-pop fans act the way that they do. Not to justify it, but to acknowledge it and understand. I don't think it's wrong, but it's definitely weird, especially if you're young. And since Stray Kids have fans that are under 15 now, like, wow. If there are kids and early teens who are dealing with a poor environment and needs healing, they will look up to Bang-chan, and Bang-chan acts as if they're friends, which they are not. Seriously, people consider him as a therapist. I know I made a joke unironically when I was a stay. Fun fact, guys, I was the one that made the video Chan's Room Moments. It's up on my main channel. So I was a big Bang-chan fan. He was my therapist, quote unquote, but then I snapped out of it because that was weird. Like, that's weird to say. Other people have gone as far to call him a god and worship everything he says and follow his words, but just like God, his followers simultaneously ignore and betray everything he says. Those are for fans who are going through something, but I know there are fans who are not necessarily going through that or anything at all, but they still behave badly in certain ways, and Bang-chan has to say many times, guys, please don't behave badly, and then they don't listen. I'm always watching, he says. Well, he clearly doesn't do anything to do something about the toxicity of his fans. People like to make themselves, or here we go again, make Stray Kids a victim, because I have seen people around going, why is Chan getting a lot of hate when other idols have talked about this too? It's always Chan and it's always Stray Kids, they get hate. Because other fandoms aren't as toxic as you. Chan doesn't have this privilege to talk about things like this because his fans and in general K-pop will bully other people for what their almighty Chan has said. Hardly other groups and their fandoms do that. People love to strike on how idols should have freedom of speech, but K-pop isn't ready for that. Because K-pop fans see their idols and say something, and if they don't like it, they bully them and anyone else who agrees with them, and if they do agree with what the idol said, they will use it to bully others or use it as a line from a religious text and preach about it. K-pop fans, or at least stays, are not ready for someone like Bang-chan to get real with them. As for Chan, once was enough, and look at the commotion you caused. It may not be entirely your fault, but you should know better on how your fans behave on the internet with other people. And I know you don't like it when you see your fans bully others, so why have you not said anything? Stop right there. I know why. Because I know damn well that Stays won't be like, oh hey, you know what? Now that Chan said it, he's right. We have been toxic. We should stop. They will not care, and if anything, they will turn on him for speaking up about it. Yeah. It's not entirely Chan's fault. He just said something he wanted to share, but we heard it once. The next time, take it up to your bandmates, your manager, to the other group that made you feel that way. Their managers, I don't know. Just not your fans. Your fans aren't to be trusted because they take all of your words out of context. This has happened a lot in the past, 4 years that Stray Kids has been a thing? Firstly, when Chan made a V-Live about someone betraying him in his lifetime, fans concluded it was Woojin, which it seems not to be. Secondly, Chan posted a player called Don't Wanna Acknowledge or I Hate to Admit It. People thought it was Woojin, and it got so bad to the point where he had to come out and say it wasn't him and not to send hate to him. Thirdly, when Woojin left Stray Kids, they were going to have a comeback on the way, but Woojin left, so they pushed the comeback to re-record and do some editing to adapt to the 8 members now. Levanter came out and people thought it was about Woojin, but that did not make sense considering Woojin was also in the song. So why would Stray Kids make a song about a member who they probably did not know was going to leave? Then, also pretty recently, sometime last year, Bang Chan was on a live and I think he googled Stray Kids and saw an article that still happened to include Woojin as Stray Kids, and he was like, come on, bruh, we are 8. And Stay ran with it, bullying Woojin and Cubs, saying that Chan confirmed that they are 8. Duh, I can count. I knew that since 2019. I didn't know it was that hard to keep up with. But he was not dragging Woojin. He was dragging people who make news about Stray Kids and when they use group photos and use the ones that are not relevant to them anymore. I honestly get mad when people who talk about modern day groups and use photos when they were younger. Like, it's not even recent. I see it all the time with Blackpink and BTS. They use the same photos where they are all together, but it's like 2 to 4 years old. Use new photos. And it makes me cringe even more when they still use photos of Stray Kids as 9, because the least you can do is research how many a group is and who their members are. Stray Kids take many updated photos. Why aren't anyone using them for their news articles and even merch? My dad went out of town, which I did not get to tag along, and he bought me a Stray Kids pop socket. He thought it was a button, but it was a pop socket of Stray Kids printed on it, and it still had a Woojin. Good thing I caught it, because imagine if I went out with that thing, I would have been crucified. I still have it packaged because I just do not support that era of Stray Kids anymore, and I think nobody should. The point is, Chan says that he is always watching, but never seems to put his foot down about the bad behavior of his fans. If he is always watching, then he must see this happening and should know that he should be careful with what he says. I think he is very careful with what he says, but I mean, I imagine Bang Chan is walking on eggshells every day, but does he not see the relationship dynamic he crafted himself with his fans? He should have been smarter than to speak about this again, because it did not work out the first time, man. Anytime that man speaks, it never works out. Please, Chan always tells his fans to be respectful to others. Clearly, he is complaining on how he isn't given any respect, so why are you disrespecting Bang Chan's words when you as fans take everything he says like it's a religion? I simply do not get it. In conclusion, Bang Chan will forever walk on eggshells, and it seems like he never learns when he, on a technicality, instigates something. The first time wasn't his fault. Many times when idols say something and their fans take it out of context, it's not their fault. So Bang Chan isn't wrong here. But again, considering he's aware of his fans online, which would mean he knows how they operate, he would understand what he should and should not say to them. Next time, if he has stuff like this to talk about, he should just talk about it to himself, his bandmates, a therapist, I don't know. Anybody but Stay. Or if he does say something to stay, if something goes out of hand again, he should finally step up and shut his fandom up, because this is not looking good on him, and his fans will continue to drag him and set him and strays up for strays for Stray Kids up for unnecessary drama. I was not surprised when I saw this happen, and I was and am genuinely not sorry for him. I really hope he learns from this one this time.